The daughter of former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Null remains in jail after her arrest Friday, charged with 9 felonies. Casey Null appeared in court this morning, becoming the 3rd member of her family to be arrested in recent months. Casey's charged with 5 counts of theft and 4 counts of tax evasion. Court documents allege she spent $96,000 over a 3-year span on an American Express card from the Utica Township Volunteer Firefighter Association. Purchase describes as personal, including clothing, Netflix, and tanning. Investigators then said Casey failed to report that money as personal income. And while she has not yet filed this year's tax return, it's believed she spent another $12,000. During discussions of Casey's bond, the defense argued she's indicated she's not a high risk, even turning herself in. But the prosecution disagreed, hinting at a larger problem surrounding all 3 family members in this case.
Casey spent a lot of the past few days with me, because we expected that by the end of this week there'd be a warrant for her in this case.
Your Honor, with all due respect, this is the 3rd defendant charged in this matter, and each one of them knew specifically when the warrant was issued under seal. The state believes that I have no idea even how Jamie Null, Misty Null, and now Casey Null know that a warrant drops in a confidential document under seal so much that they can turn themselves in when the warrant is issued. The state has some concerns about that information somehow being provided to the Null family.
A big question today. Casey's attorney says she anticipated charges in that case because a detective gave her a call earlier in the week. Her dad, Jamie Null, is facing 25 felony charges, including counts of theft, tax evasion, corrupt business practices, ghost employment, and official misconduct. The ISP investigation began in June of 2023 following allegations Null directed jail staff to work on his personal property and run his personal errands while on county time. His wife, Misty Null, is facing 10 felonies, 5 counts of theft and 5 counts of tax evasion. Both have pleaded not guilty. The judge gave Casey and her attorney 2 bond options, either $20,000 cash or $5,000, and wearing a GPS monitoring system. Her bond now set at $20,000 cash. We also have new information in a different Jamie Null case. The family of Null's late brother Leon filed a petition to reopen his estate, alleging Jamie enriched himself and his daughter at their expense. The petition claims Jamie sold Leon Null's house to his daughter Casey for $180,000 and gave her $36,000 in equity. It said the money should have been given to Leon's children. Attorney Amy Wheatley, who is representing Leon Null's 3 kids, said their petition will need a special judge appointed, just like Jamie Null's criminal case.
They are in disbelief. What they've shared with me was that this was such a low point for them. They had just lost their father, and, he completely took advantage of them.
Police started investigating that estate case at the beginning of February and say they have evidence Jamie profited off of it as the controller. Jamie Null has been under investigation by Indiana State Police since last June. Since then, many details have come to light, including child support payments allegedly made with Utica Township volunteer firefighter funds from Null to a former Clark County councilwoman. You can read more about all of the details online at WHAS11.com.
Brianna always wanted to save lives. We know she wanted more than that too. She wanted to live. She wanted a family. A no-knock warrant took all of that away from her. With this legislation, we can at least honor her first wish, ensure this never happens to anyone again.
Today, another push from congressional lawmakers to pass the Justice for the Brianna Taylor Act. The legislation would ban no-knock search warrants nationwide. Senator Rand Paul and Congressman Morgan McGarvey, who you heard from right there, behind this initiative. Taylor was killed about 4 years ago this week when Metro police officers executed a no-knock warrant at her apartment. Louisville Metro Council passed its own version of Brianna's law within months of her death, followed by a state law restricting no-knock warrants a year later.
I do this not only because I care about the people behind the door, I also care about the police. I think it's a very dangerous raid for police to take, and there's a lot of better ways to arrest people that don't involve going in the middle of the night.
McGarvey and Paul were also joined by Tamika Palmer, Brianna's mom, and the executive director of the ACLU of Kentucky. As Metro government and the U.S. Department of Justice negotiate a consent decree on reform efforts, we've learned you'll have the chance to be a part of the process. Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins said the DOJ has agreed to host community meetings on the consent decree later this spring. Right now, the DOJ is requiring the early draft and negotiations to remain confidential. Once it's agreed upon, and an independent monitor will then begin measuring the progress. Ultimately, a judge will decide whether the city is meeting a constitutional standard. A report from the University of Louisville and the Mayor's Office of Equity just released a study called The History of Policing in Louisville. That report identifies patterns of institutional harm and how to change them. Mayor Craig Greenberg says in order to improve the Metro Police Department, it's important to know how we got here.
It's important that we know where we came from. It's important that we acknowledge the challenges of the past, things that we may have wished wouldn't have happened in the past, learn from that history so we can truly have the best police department in America, one that works with the community to prevent violent crime from happening.
Now, the mayor's office is planning a community listening session in the next few weeks where people can share their thoughts and reactions to that report. We'll keep you posted. The Sherman Mitten Bridge, it remains closed today, and right now there's no concrete time when it'll reopen. Engineers completed inspections of the upper and lower decks of that bridge yesterday and reported favorable results. The renewal team says a misalignment is one of the lateral floor beams of the upper deck is to blame. Inspectors are now analyzing the result to determine what, if any, repairs are needed. This latest closure has a lot of you who rely on that bridge more frustrated than ever.
The gut initial feeling is fear, but then you got to calmly reassure yourself that these things happen and it will not be the end of the world, but the bridge will absolutely negatively affect, if it's not open, the downtown as a whole.
The renewal team says it hopes to provide a reopening schedule as soon as plans are finalized. Until then, drivers are encouraged to take that alternate route from I-265 to 65. Well, river traffic is moving freely now that several barges are no longer stuck at the L&I Railroad Bridge. Friday afternoon, 10 barges came loose in the Ohio River and got stuck at the 14th Street Bridge. On Saturday, the United States Coast Guard recovered 6 of them. Today, recovery operations are underway for 2 sunken barges and the coal they were carrying. And then by tomorrow or Wednesday morning, a salvage company is expected to start removal operations for the 2 others near the lower dam gates. Both the NTSB and Coast Guard are investigating how the barges got loose.